Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! So I've been looking at this Resident Evil poster, which is just ahead of me in my room, and it got me to thinking about how I played Resident Evil for the first time ever back in 1996. And I remember thinking to myself, what would ever happen if the world had been overtaken by zombies and we were in the midst of a zombie apocalypse? And the more that I think about it, I'd probably stay home and record Descendants of Zombies videos for you guys, because if somebody were to tell me years ago that I would be sitting here hosting the most popular Descendants of Zombies podcast ever created, I probably would have thought that person would have been crazy, but lo and behold, they would have been right. And I got to tell you guys something, this has become the greatest honor of my life and by far the most fun that I've ever had as a content creator, because years ago, I was pretty much the co-host of a radio show or a YouTube channel, which meant I had to put over the host of the show and I had to talk about what they wanted to be talked about on their show, so I didn't really have that much creative freedom. But since, moving into this house, having the chance to create my own studio and put my investments and my time into a YouTube channel that I wanted to create and be a part of for each and every one of you, I've really had the time of my life, and there is nothing else in the world, no place in the world I would rather be than sitting in front of this camera with this microphone turned on, sharing with you my incredible stories about how I thought an alien invasion could have happened, or a zombie apocalypse could be real, because I've never believed what these scientific experts have ever told me on Google about how a zombie apocalypse has no chance of ever happening, and an alien invasion pretty much is not going to be seen in this lifetime. Last year I was covering this very interesting story about how this alien mothership was reportedly on the way to Earth to kill us all. And I thought to myself, if there was one niche that was incredibly supportive of everything I had to say and share with them, I would rather die with the fans of Descendants of Zombies, because this niche is incredibly supportive of who and what you believe in and how you feel about Descendants of Zombies. And I experienced this firsthand. I know this to be true because many of the subscribers that I've had from the very beginning and the very first video that was ever uploaded here are still here with me to this day. And you guys will never know just how much deep within my heart and soul I've appreciated you guys, because you guys were some of the first people ever to believe in me. And what's amazing about this YouTube channel is that you are still here with me to this very day. For the last 2 years, I have uploaded videos about Descendants of Zombies on this relatively new YouTube channel that I never imagined would exceed all of my expectations, but it did. And it had everything to do with each and every one of you, about how I shared funny stories about how my girlfriend may have been a vampire. I thought my next door neighbors for years were vampires. I've told you the funny story about how these dudes moved next door to me, and then they were working at a hospital, so they were doing night shifts, so bags of blood used to be dropped off at their door every night, and I was convinced they were vampires. It never occurred to me to ask them whether or not they were vampires, but I was kind of really freaked out by the whole situation until one night I was invited over to their house for dinner, and then I saw their living room look like Dracula's castle, and I said, for sure these guys are vampires, although they never did confirm it for me. And then I used to live with this one dude who used to think he was a werewolf, and I thought those situations that I had been caught up within fit perfectly with what Descendants of Zombies and this whole new generation was trying to promote, giving us hope and a second chance to believe in ourselves perhaps more than ever before, because when we think about quitting on ourselves, we draw that incentive and that inspiration from something as powerful as what Descendants of Zombies came to be, because of events like the Worlds Collide Tour and how these stars had every one of their dreams come true, especially for Freya Sky. God, she deserves every opportunity in the world, every opportunity seen, because Freya Sky appreciates these moments, and she appreciates most of all each and every one of you for how much you believed in her. Heading to FreyaSky.com, buying her merch, buying her concert tickets. There are still limited seating available for Leg 2 of the Stars Align World Tour, which is something I'm incredibly excited to be here for, and I want to put it out there to the Freya Sky fans. If you are a Freya Sky fan who loves Freya Sky with all of her heart, I think this could be the YouTube channel for you, because I've gone above and beyond for Freya Sky. I've gone above and beyond for Kylie Control, because I thought Kylie Control was the most beautiful, lifelike Disney princess that I had ever laid eyes on, and I was never afraid to let the world know how I truly felt about Kylie, because I wanted to give Kylie a chance. I had read all the critical reviews Kylie was receiving early on in her career for her roles as Gabby Duran, Jasmine on Raven's Home. Of course, she had so many reoccurring roles. She never really had that definitive role to really stand out and leave an everlasting impression on all of our hearts and within our minds until Descendants happened for her, and then she embarked on this power era, which has been an incredible journey for Kylie Control. I think we can find time in appreciating that, because there are far more Kylie Control fans who watch this show than I've ever been given credit for. And I want you guys to know that it's been my honor to meet you all. It's been my honor to be in your presence. So if I was ever going to say anything at all about Kylie Cantrell, it was going to have to be something nice. You know, Kylie Cantrell is a really beautiful person. Through and through, she's a beautiful person regardless of how these critics feel about her. And I think that if you give Kylie Cantrell a chance and actually get to know Kylie Cantrell for the person that she is, you will never regret it. You know, all the years that I've covered Disney Channel stars, from Miley Cyrus to Selena Gomez to even Demi Lovato, I gave Demi Lovato, some of the most difficult people on Disney Channel, even more of a chance than probably anybody ever did. I wanted to showcase them for their true potential and them realizing all of their dreams, because as I watched them grow up on Disney Channel relatively quickly, I saw them accomplish all of their dreams, and I wanted the same thing to happen for people like Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker, because they deserve that opportunity. They are so proud to bring these stories and these characters that these stories are told about to life, and I don't think there is a cast out there that could have done this more powerfully or more effectively as what they did. It's been my honor to showcase them for their true worth and their true potential, because I know that you're watching this video because you're a fan of Kylie, you're a fan of Freya, you're a fan of Malia. They come by the thousands to this YouTube channel. Often nights, this YouTube channel is recommended to thousands of Descendants of Zombies fans and Kylie Cantrell and Freya Sky fans alike, because you guys just want to watch the best videos. And I just wanted to be that one guy who every night could serve as a beacon of light. And what I mean by that is it will give you a chance to actually find the Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel that was actually cool, that told you really crazy but also really funny stories about what I believed. Because I went through this phase where I believed everything that I saw on TV was real. If there ever was one guy out there in this universe who thought that pro wrestling was real, it was this guy. If I saw a vampire TV show, I always thought that vampires were the scariest beings ever witnessed. And it was very difficult to defeat a vampire. They were absolutely terrifying years ago. I know there are a lot of people that criticize the vampires and the way Disney distributed them for Dawn of the Vampires, but the thing is, you've got to realize that there is a significant different age demographic watching Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires. So to make the vampires so terrifying, that would dramatically affect a lot of people. I remember growing up in an era where television and entertainment really didn't care how terrifying the vampire was. It was all about scaring the life out of you. And if they could scare the life out of you, they did. I remember how terrifying Buffy the Vampire Slayer used to be to watch for me. There were countless nights that I would stay awake wondering if this stuff that I was watching on TV was real, because I went through that phase. I remember watching Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps in their original formats and being absolutely terrified to shut my eyes. So I think what Disney has done in this new generation, this kind of sci-fi generation, is really cool, and how they really brought it to life. I think the Descendants book series is also a really great read for people who are being introduced to reading. I think it really is an intriguing read, and it inspires people to actually pick up books more than ever before. You know, you're talking to a guy who can remember when Alice in Wonderland was first published as a 4-book series, and it was so revered for the beautiful characters and how much they would go on to mean to each of our hearts, and especially Alice for her curiosity and really her appreciation that came with her life. She wanted more than anything to jump down a rabbit hole and make friends with everybody. And you know something, the more that I think about it, I would take myself up in the opportunity to jump down a rabbit hole in my backyard. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, why would you even think about doing that? Well, I think there are so many magical opportunities to give us a chance to believe in something more in this lifetime. And I've often believed that we are never alone, which means that there are supernatural characters out there, the supernatural beings, if you would. There are such things as fairy tales. So why not, if you ever have the chance to jump down a rabbit hole and discover what's inside of it, I would love the opportunity to visit Wonderland and hang out with Red and Chloe. I would have loved to have been a part of this franchise, man, and been everybody's favorite action hero, have the chance to ride a horse and save Kylie Cantrell from a dragon or a demon or something like that. I think that Descendants of Zombies has given us a chance to believe in more than we probably ever believed in our entire life. I've often wanted to be a knight in shining armor or a Prince Charming to really help bring this to life, because I think that the characters that you love and the characters that you've appreciated are what's brought this to life. Because no matter how many times we've heard the stories of our favorite Descendants of Zombies characters reiterated, the stories have been told differently. No matter who we heard these stories from, we gave these stories more of a chance because we couldn't help but fall fall head over heels in love with it, and I took away a greater appreciation for fairy tales all the time. I studied folk literature for years. I studied play productions for years, such as Dracula and Phantom of the Opera. I've told you so many life-changing experiences that came in the form of stage productions such as Romeo and Juliet and Phantom of the Opera from over 30 years ago. And I remember taking a greater appreciation away from reading the novel Dracula back in grade 12 when I was doing an English course. I was doing advanced English at the time, and I remember the teacher telling us how the character traits of Dracula and Dracula's victims separated each other and allowed this story to be told in such a powerful way. Do you guys know there have been over 200 adaptations of various vampire stories told over the years? And the thing is, as we tell these stories, we have a chance to tell them differently, and we have a chance to make more believers out of people than perhaps ever before. And I felt more than honored to have been a part of this. I've felt more than honored to have the chance to be a part of the Disney Renaissance era, where Disney prided itself on its original characters such as Aladdin, Hercules, and Little Mermaid. And I remember how beautiful these Disney princesses were perceived. So when you think about Clarke playing Princess Red, or Chloe Charming playing Chloe Charming, that's so amazing to me how they can bring these characters to life, because they have never felt more honored to have the chance to be a part of what they had the chance to be a part of. And now Freya Skye, with her first ever movie role coming in the form of Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires, we are more than excited to be a part of the future of Nova and what she has coming for her, because I think it's going to be something far more special than what critics ever realize or want to give Freya Skye more of a chance to bring to life. I think that Freya Skye, the way I look at Freya Skye is she is going to be the next Taylor Swift. You know, we can have as many conversations as we want about Freya Skye, but the thing we keep on denying is the fact that she has a chance of becoming the next major star in Hollywood. And I will forever support Freya Skye if people also out there believe that she has a chance of becoming the next major star in Hollywood, because we can talk about Taylor Swift as much as we want for her revenue sitting at $1.5 billion. But, you know, numbers really don't tell me a whole lot about a person. What tells me more about a person is how they put their personality out there and how they showcase their image. Because oftentimes celebrities never have the chance to showcase their image for the way they want to. It's all about a record label and how that record label feels about them and how their image should be perceived. I think that people like Freya Skye, who go out of their way to connect with each and every one of you both on a professional and personal level, should be given far more credit than ever before. And I felt more than honored to watch these stars such as Kylie and Freya grow up into such phenomenal individuals who countless people take so much inspiration away from. Regardless if it's from their music, regardless if it's from their movie roles such as Descendants and Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires. It's been so fun for me seeing these stars really evolve in an industry that is very difficult for you to leave a name for yourself within and leave an everlasting impression. But these stars have a chance of going down in history for being some of the greatest of all time. And I have never felt more honored to secure that for you guys for how I felt about Descendants and Zombies. And I know that it's very different to hear a guy talking about Descendants and Zombies for hours every day of his life, because I promised you guys that I would upload videos about Descendants and Zombies every day for the rest of my life. But I promised you that because that's what I intended on doing. Because I felt these Descendants and Zombies YouTube channels that you were watching as the fan, from a fan's perspective, weren't really dedicating their lives to uploading videos for you guys. They were promising you content that never seemed to surface, never seemed to come to be. And I wanted to be that one guy who would always upload at least one video every day for the rest of his life about Descendants and Zombies, regardless if I spent 20 minutes talking about Freya Skye, another 20 minutes talking about Kylie Cantrell, because I love them. What more needs to be said? I just love them. And I know how much you guys have loved them and how much you have appreciated them. And the only hope I've ever had as a content creator, really, the only hope that any content creator ever seems to have had, is that somebody out there is going to watch their video. Someone's going to click on their thumbnail and run their finger across their subscribe button. That's the only hope I've ever had. And over nearly 4,000 people saw something special in the messages of these videos and how they were created. Because of the stories I told you and how I was a believer of a zombie apocalypse or an alien invasion happening at any given moment. Every day, I'm looking out through my window thinking I'm going to get beamed up or aliens are going to come out of the woods because there's a woods behind my house. I've told you really funny stories about that. But you know, also living here on this island, there are so many legendary ghost stories that are affiliated with this island. I live in one of the most haunted places in the world. The haunted density here is at an all-time high. So as a result of that, There are so many stories about ghosts and people going missing while they're going berry picking or going missing in the mountains or getting lost in the fog. And it's really allowed me to bring these videos to life because of the heritage and the renaissance of these stories that have been told through the years, because there have been thousands of ghost stories told about this legendary island where I live. It is such a wonderful opportunity to give me to meet wonderful people, and even with how many people I've met, I've still got my work cut out for me because I still have so many millions of fans of Descendants of Zombies to meet. Do you guys know there are 10.5 million of you on social media every night looking up Descendants of Zombies content? And there are over 600,000 people alone who watch videos about Descendants of Zombies every night. So I look at this as an honor to create a video, because I often think about the person watching the video on the other side of the video and what I can do to bring these videos to life. Because when you bring these videos to life, you have the chance of offering someone something special to believe in. You give them a chance to believe in a future, if anything, for Descendants of Zombies. And I have felt more than honored to be a part of that with thousands of people who obviously saw something special in every video that I had the honor to create. I know there is somebody out there. The thing is, you see, when you create a video about Descendants of Zombies, you've got to understand that there is somebody out there who loves Descendants of Zombies with all of their heart and believes in it with all their heart. And if you can give them more of a reason to continue to follow their passions, whether it be collecting Descendants of Zombies merch, drawing their favorite Descendants of Zombies characters, believing they have a chance to actually meet Kylie and Freya, or attend Freya and Kylie's shows, that is what makes it so worth it for me as a YouTuber. The chance to create so many wonderful videos that I hope are going to resonate with thousands of people who love Descendants of Zombies with all their heart. Because there are thousands of people out there who just have a dream. And they want more than anything else in their life to realize that dream. And if I can be the reason why you believe in your dream more than perhaps ever before, I've always wanted to be a part of these conversations. These are conversations I've obviously looked forward to having with you guys and sharing my thoughts and predictions and reviews of your favorite characters. Because no matter who we are, we've all had a special moment that made us a fan of Descendants of Zombies. There was that one moment just as fast as you can snap your fingers that made you realize that you were a fan of Descendants of Zombies and you thought, hey, Descendants of Zombies was cool. And a guy like Jonathan Clarke was cool for how he brought these stories to life and how much he believed in them. Because it's one thing for a person to tell you how they truly feel about Descendants of Zombies, but when they speak from their heart, and they speak from their heart with an open heart and an open mind, you never know what they're about to say or how they truly feel. But I think that when a person goes out of their way to continuously upload videos about Descendants of Zombies, that's what brings this franchise to life, and that's what gives people more of a reason than perhaps ever before to believe in Descendants of Zombies with all of their heart. And that's all that I've ever wanted to be a part of. I've always wanted to be a part of something special, and I've wanted to give you guys a reason to believe in these franchises than perhaps ever before. And some way or somehow, I've managed to break the fourth wall. I've shared with you all these funny stories, crazy predictions, and theories that I may have had about Descendants of Zombies, and thousands of people saw something special in my videos, but also chose this YouTube channel as their favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. I will return just after sunset tonight with one final video for you guys as we close out this Saturday evening together. And thank you guys so much for spending your Saturday, really spending your entire weekend with Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. It's always so fun when hundreds of people watch these videos every day. I just uploaded my very first podcast this morning, and hundreds of people have already watched it. Thank you so much for the high volume of views that are happening on this YouTube channel today, and really thank you so much for having been with me from the very first video that was ever uploaded here, because all I ever wanted to do was be a part of something special, to have the chance to experience something special and to be a part of it and to share my story with you. I became accepted into this niche over 10 years ago, and I feel like I've had no regrets, and I've been a part of this niche ever since, because thousands of people just love sitting down in front of their cameras or in front of their laptops and their tablets and listening to this story. And that's what really brought this to life, when you would sit down and you would listen to the stories that I share with you and made it worth what I did as a YouTuber, because there have been so many niches that haven't accepted how I felt about their niches and their commentaries that I provided. But when it came to Descendants of Zombies, you guys obviously saw something special in everything I had to say, because for the first time in my life I felt accepted into a niche after having fallen into the niche of Descendants of Zombies, and I felt like people were hearing and seeing my story a whole lot more from the first time that I ever premiered, which would have been back on August 15th, 1999. In the very first show that I ever uploaded about Descendants of Zombies that I ever created, I promised you guys that you guys would always have me, regardless of who was seen within these franchises. And I have felt felt more than honored to create something special and give back to every person who ever believed in Descendants of Zombies with all of their heart. I hear movie music in the background. I have no idea why I hear movie music in the background. I think I'm going to become a part of a live-action production at any given moment. But guys, I've seriously thought this house was haunted for a really long time. We've got to get that checked out. If you would love to hit my subscribe button and become a part of this beautiful journey that I feel like I've been on for a very long time, you are more than welcome to hit my subscribe button and share your story about how you're a fan of Descendants of Zombies, because I would love for your story to be heard just as often and as much as what mine has had the chance of being heard. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. And as always, thank you so much for having watched this video. As always, it's been my honor to have the chance to bring these stories to life, because when you can touch somebody's heart and you have the chance of winning the heart of every fan of Descendants of Zombies out there, that's what really brings these videos to life and gives you more of a chance of leaving behind that legacy you've always wanted to leave behind. And I know more than ever before, I will go down in history for having been one of the greatest of all time for how I've told this story and shared my thoughts with you guys, because you guys love this YouTube channel so much. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. And as always, thank you so much for having watched this video.